2013 has seen another classic Rolex Fastnet race, which this year especially has embraced the true spirit of the event, that every yacht taking part, big or small, professional or amateur, has a chance of winning. The 45th edition of the biennial Rolex Fastnet Race started as always in Cowes on the Isle of Wight. 336 yachts lined up at the start, the biggest fleet in the race's 88-year history. Such is the allure of this iconic 600-mile offshore race that it attracted entrants from 20 nations across the globe, from as far afield as Australia. Light winds meant that this edition of the race was going to be more about strategy than pure speed, and so it proved. As the fleet beat up the Solent to the Needles, the bigger yachts, the Maxes and Mini-Maxes, picked their way through the spectacular bottleneck of smaller boats ahead. All eyes were on British yacht Ran 2, attempting to make history by winning their third Rolex Fastnet title in a row. By the time the first monohulls made it to the Scilly Isles, the multi-hull speed machines had already reached the legendary Fastnet Rock off the southern tip of Ireland, marking the turn back to the finish line in Plymouth. The massive French trimaran Spindrift 2 was the first around, and would go on to be the first boat home. Further back, the 100-foot Azimuth Europa 2 led the charge for the big monohulls, all of whom passed the Fastnet Rock in the night, with dawn seeing the arrival of the pursuing pack. Heading for home, the front runners all struggled as they approached the finish, Azimuth Europa 2 securing line honours in near becalmed conditions. With the overall race title being awarded on corrected time, the focus switched back out to sea, where the wind was now lifting, and the race was swinging in favour of the smaller boats still sailing home. A fierce battle then ensued between a pack of boats expected to finish within a few hours of each other. All had a real chance for the title. In the end, it was 33-foot Night and Day, sailed by the father and son crew of Pascal and Alexis Loison, that won through. A fairy tale ending, beating the whole monohull fleet, including the professional teams. The remarkable achievement of the two men from Cherbourg was celebrated by all their peers as they became the worthy recipients of the Rolex Fastnet Challenge Cup, making history by becoming the first ever two-handed crew to win the Rolex Fastnet Race.
At last we've got boats in, and we've been waiting here for a couple of days with the arrival of the multi-hulls. Then we had the fast 100s or the mini maxis and the Imoca 60s. So now we have what is the Rolex Fastnet Race. It is the bulk of the fleet. Those people are doing it, friends and family, mates doing it for the challenge of the race, and they're all coming in, streaming in. We've only had 10 retirements, so it's been a really good race for the competitors. They've all had a great time, and really it's been a big success.
No real retirements and nothing really of any major problems at all?
No, we haven't. I mean, 2 years ago we had the Rambler capsizing, keel falling off, and that was a major incident where thankfully everybody was saved and nobody hurt themselves. But it's a reminder. It is a reminder that accidents can happen, and you always worry about the fleet getting home safely. We have a qualification process that requires people to get the right experience throughout the season. It's not just turn up and go sailing. So they have to get the experience, and we do safety tests, checks on boats. And when the conditions are right, it works. Everything works, and everyone comes home safely.
The race really has accelerated, hasn't it, over the past few years? We're now getting finishers who are only spending a day at sea, and yet we still have competitors who haven't got to the Fastnet Rock yet.
No, well, if you think that this race was started by a boat called Jolly Breeze in 1925, and that's the reason for the Royal Ocean Racing Club, and that's how the whole club and the whole race started. Jolly Breeze is out there doing the race, and she's on her way back from the Rock. She's not the last boat. She might be one of the most ancient and slowest. But she's fighting her way back, and she'll be in here tomorrow night for the prize giving, I'm sure.
What about the class winners? Because handicap is a problem for the boat that crosses the line first isn't necessarily the winner.
No, you've got to remember that there are many different types of boats here. What you'd call the family cruiser racer. People can go cruising and they also like racing them all over the world. This race has been dominated by the French, who, with their builders Beneteau, Jeannot, and Grand Soleil, have a big market in France for cruiser races, and they obviously know how to sail their boats. 13 out of the top 20 boats in the fleet, in overall under IRC rating, have been French, and it just shows that they like their offshore racing. They're very good at it too.
It certainly does, and for the first time ever we have a boat sailed by just two people who've taken the overall trophy.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. This is a father and son from Cherbourg. They obviously know the channel, they know the tidal conditions that we sail in, and they've beaten a sister ship, a JPK 1010, a sister ship, fully crewed. And this has been an incredibly tactical race. These guys, they came home exhausted, but obviously elated and waiting to find out what the result's going to be. And they've beaten Noah Racine's Foggy Dew, which is a very well sailed offshore race boat that sails with the Royal Ocean Racing Club a lot. And that's an amazing experience. But what is very good is that these JPK 1010s, they're 33, 35 foot long. It just shows you that they can compete against the best in the world. And we have had the best in the world here. We've had professional sailors from all over the world, 20 countries represented in this race. And these guys, not only is it the first time a two-handed team have won, but the small boat knows that they can compete and have a chance of winning.
So they've won overall as well as the two-handed, so extraordinary result really for just a father and son.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, Alexis, the son, is a figure of, he's semi-professional, or I think he might be a professional Figaro sailor. He's very experienced. Dad's, and he's got a lot of experience and time on the water, and they obviously have a great relationship, and it showed in the way they sailed their boat.
So overall, how do you think? What do you think of
I think everyone's having a great time. They've just loved the race, and it's a challenge for a lot of people just to get to the Rock. It's their, I hate to say it, it's their Everest of sailing, and for many people just to do this race and experience it is a big deal arriving in Plymouth. And then there is those people who want to win. And now we know that it's not just going to be a big professional super carbon fiber race boat that's going to win the race. Anyone can win it, and that's good for the race and it's good for competition.
Eddie Warden-Owen, thank you very much. And just the prize giving to go.
Prize giving tomorrow afternoon. Yes, we expect still some boats to be at sea, but the majority of the fleet will be in tonight and during Friday. And from the Royal Ocean Racing Club point of view, we hope as many people will turn up the prize giving, and it's about having fun. That's what yachting is, and certainly everyone seems very happy.